You asked for me. Here I am.
Hello and welcome to a community review of Captain America: Brave New World.
The good. 1.
One of the connecting threads from First Avenger, Winter Soldier, Civil War, and now with Brave New World is the quality of the fight scenes. They always feel believable, real, personal. It speaks to the greatness of these films to see that high quality maintained while also lifting each successive script with brilliant, captivating dialogue and meaningful interactions. Sam Wilson is such an incredible character, carrying the weight of his responsibilities and the caring for all those around him. It is rare to see this depth of empathy in a soldier turned hero. Steve had it and had 100,000 reasons to have developed it. One of the best things about Anthony Mackie's performance is the realism of his reactions and the subtle expression of determination. He's not given to speeches. When he speaks, it is with consideration for those who he must protect, balanced beautifully, with reserving a chance for redemption for those he must fight. This is an amazing film, one worth watching multiple times while finding our own paths to redemption.
2.
Captain America: Brave New World marks a triumphant return to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, delivering a compelling narrative that seamlessly blends action, character development, and political intrigue. Anthony Mackie shines as Sam Wilson, embracing the mantle of Captain America with a performance that is both charismatic and deeply nuanced. His portrayal captures the internal conflict of a hero striving to uphold ideals in a complex world, offering a fresh and relatable perspective. Harrison Ford's portrayal of President Thaddeus Ross is nothing short of exceptional. He brings a gravitas to the role that adds depth to the storyline, especially as his character undergoes a significant transformation. Ford's ability to convey a spectrum of emotions enhances the film's exploration of power and responsibility. The action sequences are masterfully choreographed, providing thrilling spectacles that keep viewers on the edge of their seats. From intense aerial battles to close-quarters combat, the film ensures that each scene serves to advance the plot and develop its characters. Director Julius Onah's vision is evident throughout the film, balancing high-octane action with moments of introspection. The narrative delves into timely themes, reflecting on the state of the world and the role of heroes within it. This thoughtful approach elevates the film beyond a standard superhero fare, offering audiences both entertainment and substance. In summary, Captain America: Brave New World is a standout addition to the Marvel franchise. With stellar performances, exhilarating action, and a thought-provoking narrative, it sets a new standard for superhero films. Fans and newcomers alike will find much to admire in this cinematic achievement.
3.
This movie is great because it reminds me of good old Phase 1 and Phase 2 MCU movies. It doesn't try and be too much. It does bring back characters from Phase 1, but it never felt as if they needed larger roles, at least not yet. The movie touches on continuity from previous movies, but it doesn't hold them hostage to keep the story moving. This is definitely a safe choice movie, as in it gets the job done by setting up future movies, but all while playing fan service to legacy MCU fans. Granted, the fights are similar and some supporting characters aren't fully flushed out. However, it works when you set your expectations to a Captain America who has no serum and what the political climate is currently at when this movie released. Fun movie with minor inconsistent flaws, an MCU classic.
4.
Overall, I thought this movie was pretty good. Anthony Mackie and Harrison Ford crushed their roles. They were the standouts. The action was awesome, and the story was good. The second act was a bit all over the place. You could feel where this movie was reshot. The humor was hit or miss. But overall, if you're a Marvel fan, you should check it out.
4.
This film doesn't deserve its poor rating. By no means is it perfect, but a rating this poor deters people from visiting the theaters. Go see it. Captain America: Brave New World delivers an action-packed and refreshing experience, with Anthony Mackie shining in his role. The film is fun, but the villain lacks depth, making some storylines feel forced. The VFX has some noticeable issues, with occasional blurriness and an overuse of certain characters like Ruth. Despite these flaws, the movie is worth watching, and the negative reviews seem exaggerated. While the marketing could have been stronger, it's still a solid entry in the franchise. 8 out of 10.
The bad. 1.
Saw it yesterday with my fam. Wanted to give it a shot. It ain't worth it. Sat through the entire film thinking when it'll be over. None of my family liked it, and we were 6. It had horrible pacing. It was slow. It was boring the first hour. Just blah blah. Tease some villain that no one calls by the comic book name, the Leader. It's a story that could have been shot in 5 minutes. It had to remind us of who this guy was since the end scene of Incredible Hulk, 2008. And Marvel finally decided to use him wrongly for 2 long hours of this cluster duck. It felt dragged. I heard the word Cap 100 times through this film. More than they called Steve Cap in his movies, actually. Like they wanted so hard to prove something people can't even relate to. So, Cap wasn't Cap. Didn't felt like Steve at all. Definitely not America's ass. When Bucky Barnes enters the scene for only 2 minutes, it is better than 1 hour and 56 minutes of this entire film. They didn't make the Leader, aka Samuel Stearns, as menacing and smart as the comics portray him to be. In the comics, he controls hundreds of people, turning them into Hulks. Instead, this story felt very short and very boring. 5 minutes of Red Hulk did feel very short. Like I said, they could have told this marvelous story in 5 minutes, in another better Marvel movie, but they stretched it so much, and it became really underwhelming towards the end. There's no payoff after the fight scene with the Red Hulk. No ace under the sleeve from Samuel Stearns, the Leader, which again, they left that part out. This film used the Leader extremely poorly, and I do regret paying for this film, almost $20. It ain't worth it whatsoever. Better to wait until it comes on Disney+. I'll say that again. You've been tricked yet again by Marvel.
2.
Captain America: Brave New World is a disheartening misstep in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, failing to honor the legacy of its predecessors. Anthony Mackie's portrayal of Sam Wilson as the new Captain America is undermined by a script that offers no substantial character development, rendering his performance lackluster and uninspired. The plot is a convoluted rehash of previous storylines, lacking originality and coherence. Harrison Ford's role as President Thaddeus Ross is equally disappointing. His transformation into the Red Hulk is both predictable and underwhelming, adding little excitement to the narrative. The film's attempt to tackle political themes is superficial at best, resulting in a muddled and directionless storyline. Action sequences, once a hallmark of the franchise, are now reduced to CGI-laden spectacles devoid of creativity or engagement. The introduction of new characters, such as the reimagined Sabra, falls flat, offering nothing memorable or impactful. Overall, Brave New World exemplifies Marvel's creative decline, producing formulaic and uninspired content that fails to resonate with audiences.
3.
Terrible plot. Boring and unbelievable. The plot holes were big enough to drive a Mack truck through. This was a terrible character in the comics, and it is worse on the big screen. Villain was ridiculous, and nothing like the villain of the comics. Required watching Disney Plus or previous movies that were horrible in order to follow the
4.
patchwork of storylines. I walked into the theater with high hopes, expecting a refreshing take on a beloved character, but I left utterly disappointed. Captain America: Brave New World felt like a misfired experiment that tried to modernize the myth, but ended up erasing what made the character compelling in the first place. The narrative was muddled and disjointed, making it hard for me to follow the stakes or even care about the outcome. What struck me most was the lack of authenticity. The film seemed overly preoccupied with trying to push a political agenda rather than telling a genuine, character-driven story. Instead of the dynamic, heroic spirit I associate with Captain America, I was met with a version that felt forced, preachy, and out of touch with the essence of the original character. The pacing was off too. There were moments where the film dragged, and others where it rushed important plot points without giving me a chance to connect emotionally. Even the action sequences, which are usually a saving grace in Marvel films, lacked the energy and choreography that I've come to expect. In the end, Captain America: Brave New World wasn't just a disappointment. It felt like a betrayal to the legacy of a character I've admired for years. I left the theater feeling like I had missed the Captain America I once knew, replaced by a hollow caricature trying too hard to be relevant.
5.
It's fine. Not brave or new, but does feature the world. Not my favorite Marvel movie, and not the worst. It goes in some interesting directions, has some heartfelt scenes, and tries to build drama and suspense, but never really succeeds. It feels like a comic book you buy to read the continuing storyline, but it's a fill-in artist and writer, so it's missing that something that makes it special.
The Critic. 1.
The new Captain America borrows liberally from Winter Soldier. If you're going to ape another Marvel movie, might as well be the best one. But also weaves in story points and characters from the Eternals and the Incredible Hulk. Unlike earlier standouts, most recent Marvel films are more interested in threading the past to its future than doing something exciting in the present. Cap and Red Hulk pummeling each other and tearing Washington apart during cherry blossom season is fine and all, but it doesn't make for a stellar adventure. Still, the cast does its part. Ford gives a bit of added depth to the antagonistic Ross before hulking out, while Tim Blake Nelson reprised his role as big brain Samuel Stearns from Incredible Hulk in notable fashion. Giancarlo Esposito is wonderfully nasty as mercenary Sidewinder. Just him versus Mackie for 2 hours would have been a better film. And Shira Haas is sensational as Ruth Bat Seraph, Ross's enigmatic Israeli security advisor, who is trained by the same deadly folks who unleashed Black Widow. Then there's Mackie, the coolest actor Marvel has hired this side of Robert Downey Jr. As excellent as Evans was as Cap, Mackie's shown equal skill in crafting his own version of what that character should mean, in his case, weathering the pressures and politics of being a national symbol and being as adept with his words as his fists. Hopefully next time he's given a Captain America film that doesn't let him down this hard.
2.
The stunning failure of Ona's set pieces, from a toothless shootout inside the White House to a preposterously boring naval dogfight high above the Indian Ocean, are especially egregious when compared with previous Captain America movies. Any single moment from, say, 2014's The Winter Soldier, like the intense Nick Fury ambush on the streets of Washington or the brutal fight between Steve Rogers and a small army of henchmen inside a tiny elevator, so thoroughly crushes the entirety of Brave New World that it is genuinely sad. Not even the typically puckish charms of Mackie or the grizzled growl of Ford can save the film from feeling so unappetizing. Imagine having steak one night, a gas station hot dog the next, and then, on your way out of that gas station, you retch the wiener right back up. Perhaps this all sounds unfair, almost gastronomically cruel, but then Brave New World's shamefully neutered politics regurgitate right themselves back up along with that roadside Frankfurter, and I am left with no choice but to dig this film's grave even deeper. To go by the Marvel marketing machine, Brave New World is meant to empower and inspire, a movie in which a black hero picks up the shield of a country whose back was built on slavery, released in the midst of Black History Month? That has to count for something. And its narrative ostensibly follows up on the Falcon and the Winter Soldier's main thread that paralleled the hideous Tuskegee syphilis studies of the 1930s, in which the U.S. government experimented on black men without their knowledge or consent. The series' exploration into this damning chapter of American history, which involved Sam encountering a one-time black super soldier whom the military treated as a guinea pig, wasn't exactly revelatory or deep, but it was thematically compelling and historically enlightening, offering substance amongst the spectacles. Yet Brave New World's screenplay, credited to almost as many writers as there are syllables in the film's title, is woefully confused as to whether fascism is bad or, hey, maybe there are just some very fine people on both sides? The janky story, which at one point features a US president whose complexion becomes a literal state of red, consistently comes just up against the edge of an interesting theme before lazily embracing the coward's way out. This is a movie of pussyfooting and sidestepping, unconcerned with race, history, heroism, or really any idea at all beyond Hulk smash. It might be a brave new world out there, but America might want to fix the MCU, its biggest cultural export, before adding any more states to its roster.
Have you watched this movie? What are your thoughts? Leave your opinions down in the comments section. Thanks for watching.